Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Like it's Minute-Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let him hate.
So they say that you should never mix family with business. That's a saying quote that I'm sure we've all heard before while we were growing up. Now, if you've never really understood why many live and die by that rule, this video could be a potential example for that. Once the NBA draft happens, one of the first things that organizations try to do is give off that family vibe and try to make that rookie they're dealing with as comfortable as possible to get them fully committed into this new culture. And eventually these players actually do feel at home, partly because of how much these organizations invest in them, the energy that fans pour out on the stands and on the streets, and the genuine feeling and emotion of comfort taking over their heart. That feeling right there is a feeling like no other. But hey, just a reminder here, we're humans and feelings and emotions are always temporary. They waver from time to time and are one of the most inconsistent things on this earth. This family feeling and vibe organizations give off sounds really nice and sounds hella enjoyable. Until it's time to go ahead and have that talk. That talk that leads owners and GMs to opening up their wallets. And if there are any ramifications whatsoever, all of a sudden the switch just flips. I know you've noticed that. Reality hits when the money isn't quite right on both sides. Funny, right? When a player is introduced to an organization, it's all love and it's all family. But on the way out of an organization, players always speak about how at the end of the day, it's just a business. This happens year in and year out, every single year, every single month in the NBA actually. And we're about to see it really soon once again once this NBA season is officially over. Because the time has come where certain young players get cashed out. Every year, each draft class is allowed to sign a contract extension with their respective team. As of now, it's kind of tricky when it comes to guessing what type of money each player is going to get. Because for one, the offseason money isn't just going to hit the same because of the 3-4 month hiatus that the NBA has been on. But that's just the start of it. A lot of the 2017 draftees haven't came anywhere close to their potential yet. That's what makes this contract extension period that we're about to enter so interesting. Interesting enough to me at least, and the 5 other people watching this video. My channel is dying. I'm joking. How can something die that hasn't been alive yet? We're about to tee up really soon, man. Believe it or not, I turned 21 in a few days, so I'm about to be on a whole different vibe. The summer of 2019 allowed contract extensions for the class of 2016. These talented young players had 3 years to determine their fate as NBA players and show their monetary value in this league. Ben Simmons, Jamal Murray, DeJounte Murray, Pascal Siakam, and Karis LeVert are just a few good players who got good contracts without any ramifications. But guys like Jaylen Brown had to tug and pull and fight for his 4-year, $115 million deal. Now for someone who doesn't seem like he could be the best player or even the second best player on a championship level team, that's a pretty steep price. A price that the Celtics and Danny Ainge are real stingy about giving at first. Now here is where the real investment begins. At that moment in time, when it's time to cough up, GMs start to sound a little fickle and unsure. Unsure whether or not they want to prolong their commitment with said young players. Guys like Taurean Prince, Malik Beasley, and Malcolm Brogdon and nearly Buddy Hield were moved on from because of contract issues and the lack of commitment that their team was willing to give them. A notable player from the 2016 draft class who is currently fighting for a new contract is B.I., aka Brandon Ingram. Man was a stone cold killer this season. Nobody saw this coming from him, and he most definitely just raised his price and boosted up his stock. Many GMs expect this man to get a fat contract once this season ends, whether it's from the Pelicans or someone else. He is going to get paid regardless. Ingram pretty much had to fight and claw his way into a big contract. It's not going to be like that for everyone in the class of 2017, but you're going to have your anomalies here and there. Young players are going to get paid, and they're going to get paid based off of their stock, whether it's been rising, declining, or been pretty much stagnant, which has a lot of uncertainty. We're gonna try to figure out what type of salary they get offered and how their teams view them, who just might get short-sighted and who maybe even get traded within these next 12 months. So before I start giving off names and price tags, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and do me a favor real quick. A good percentage of y'all don't even like the videos most of the time, so go ahead and do me this one favor right quick, okay? I'm not asking for too much. So it would be greatly appreciated if you go ahead and checked out the new and improved podcast that I do with Rusty Buckets. The Hoopscast is the thing of the past now. It's no longer a thing. We're still going to be talking about basketball and all that, but it's more of a side piece. In this podcast, we're going to be going into our personal day-to-day lives and just talking about whatever, YouTube, girls, society issues, things like that. We're just going to be vibing out. Last episode, we spoke about George Floyd, this YouTube process, and also hoes. It's a gem and worth the watch. First episode is already up. Go ahead and watch that and subscribe to it already if you haven't before I slap you. Jason Tatum, he might be the easiest contract extension to speak on. There's no real argument that can be made that says he doesn't deserve a max. Jason Tatum is the best player out of his class and will be getting a big bag. This isn't negotiable in any way you put it. He's shown this past season that if the Celtics were to win an NBA championship in the near future, it'll feature him as the best player on the roster. He's had so many glimpses throughout his first and second seasons in the league that pointed towards this day coming. And it's here, in my eyes at least, he's officially a certified star. What certified this new title was the multiple signature moments that he's had. I'm talking about the battles that he's had between guys like LeBron, Kawhi, and Harden. He's been able to perform toe-to-toe, pound for pound. And for that, without any hesitancy, he deserves a max contract. If his teammate Jaylen Brown was able to bag a $109 million contract, Tatum can do the exact same thing and then some. Tatum is one of the more obvious players who will be getting that contract extension. But once again, I want to put it out there that not everyone is going to get that contract extension. Teams and players are greedy sometimes, so a lot of teams like to be cheap and players like to run up their price. It's just that natural tendency of greediness that all humans have had instilled in them that shows from time to time. That's why a very low percentage of them get re-signed. Last season only like 9 players re-signed with their original team. So with that information, you should expect a similar-ish number like that to pop up this up-and-coming season. One of the most intriguing players this past season who really upped his stock was Bam Adebayo. Mans has created a new archetype in the NBA, and to say the least, nobody saw this coming. Quick reminder if y'all forgot, Bam Adebayo was the last lottery pick of his class. The leap that he's taken from year 2 to year 3 is mind-boggling. He's upped his defense, doubled his assists and playmaking in general while maintaining the exact same turnover rate from years past. Who doesn't love Bam Adebayo? He's a player who seems selfless but acknowledges how important his impact on the court in all aspects. Now Bam's numbers may not be groundbreaking and scream max contract type player, or even best player on a championship team. I don't think that's him. I don't think that's what he's meant to be. But I do think that he's definitely a piece, an important piece. It's time to bring out this old friend again. Y'all remember him? We literally only bring him out when we want to go back in the past.
Yeah, it definitely helps. You know, you farted?
I don't know where everybody is in terms of challenging on shots. It is non-existent.
The 2014 MVP race was an intense one. It featured the winner KD at 1, LeBron at 2, prime Blake Griffin at 3, and would you look at that, Joakim Noah at number 4 with by far the weakest numbers, but with the most powerful impacts. At 12 points, 11 boards, and 5 assists a game can account for his true power and influence over the outcome of a game. Bam Adebayo is literally in the same vein and I would say mold as Joakim Noah, except this man is only 22 years old. Now with today's game being so infatuated with numbers and highlights, I doubt Bam would ever reach that type of accomplishment. It's not outlandish to think that he'd be an MVP caliber player one day, but I just wouldn't bet on it. Bam Adebayo is going to be worth anywhere from $20 to $27 million next season. Now due to Pat Riley's offseason plans to make moves for a major superstar, I'm not sure how compliant he'll be with Bam's request. But just know that Bam is getting a big bag some way, somehow. Two of the more obvious re-signings are also Donovan Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox. There's not much to talk about or explain right there, because these players are the reason why their teams are relevant and watchable and have a chance to contend one day. They will get that max contract extension because they will be top 20 players at least in the near future. What's more of an intense convo to have about contract extensions is the first and second overall pick in the 2017 draft. Let's first start off with Markelle Fultz. He's been a popular topic of discussion because of how awkward his career has been. Now before the season started, he likely wouldn't even be a part of this discussion, but we're having this convo now for a reason, and that reason is because Fultz has become more of a serviceable player and actually has value in this league again, which makes him a much more interesting player. He averaged 12 points and 5 assists this past season for Orlando on 47% shooting from the field, and yeesh, let me not even get into that 3-point percentage because it still ain't right. But regardless of the fact, he's still eligible and still should be brought into this discussion. If Orlando gave him one, it'll be 110% based on his potential. It'll not be based on what he could do now for the team, but likely 2, 3, 4 years from now. Because his shot still seems unstable, his potential is as well. So there is absolutely no max contract talk for him at all. That talk is deceased. Fultz contract extension may be anywhere from $11 to $13 million a year. Markelle's Fultz price tag should be anywhere from 11 to 13, max $14 million a year, and it'll probably be a shorter contract extension. I'm talking 2 to 3 years. That only makes sense for both sides, because if Fultz improves his game, he can become a free agent and seek a bigger bag instead of being locked up on a bargain deal. And for Orlando, if he doesn't improve, you can just drop him. Simple as that. Now on to the number 2 overall pick in that class, Lonzo Ball. Zoe's situation is hella interesting as well, simply because of how other people value him. He brings so much positives to the game. He can now shoot exceptionally well. He attempted 6 threes a game and knocked them down at a 38% clip. He's an excellent floor general who really isn't ball dominant and just makes quick, instinctive decisions. His defense has also been elite, which is the complete opposite of what people try to portray him as in college. With all those great things being said about Lonzo Ball, there's still one major issue that I have with him. And this issue was one of the most rudimentary things in the NBA, and that's free throws. He's only attempting just one more than you and me per game, which speaks to his aggressiveness on the court sometimes. Because of him only attempting 1 a game, his percentages are of course going to be screwed. Now for what Zoe brings to the table in New Orleans, he is a key to their success. For that, regardless of his free throw issues, I can see his contract negotiations starting at $15 million-ish a year and ending on a $20 million note if all goes well. They'll pay him a little bit more as each year goes by, assuming that he improves. So the next 3 players that I'm about to cover all play the same position. The 4 spot. Now let's start off with the most controversial out of the 3, Kyle Kuzma. It's insane how people viewed him in year 1 compared to now. These days, whenever you're watching or reading something about Kyle Kuzma, 9 times out of 10 he's getting roasted. Roasted because of his performances on the court. If he's not shooting the ball well, he's virtually useless on the court because he's not a good playmaker, passer, and he's definitely a garbage defender. So that leads us to this question: how much is he worth and where is his stock at currently? Is the power forward on the Lakers, who was once claimed to be better than Jason Tatum, getting Jason Tatum type money? What the hell no, never that. For his role in the Lakers, I ain't gonna lie, this kind of hurts, but at the same time it's kind of funny. I can see him getting paid like $9 million a year, bro. For some reason, I have a feeling that Kuz will find that as disrespect. Why? I don't know, because he kind of reeks on the court. But he's probably going to take that as disrespect and reject that deal to find another deal somewhere across the country. Now, another very interesting player that many seem to forget is Larry Markkinen. His first few years in the league has been a roller coaster, and I cannot begin to ponder how weird his third season in the league was. Being injury riddled and misused on the court are literally 2 of the 3 worst things that could happen to any young player. And because of that, clearly derailed his value, which will hurt his pockets a bit, but I can see him getting a similar contract to Lonzo Ball. Negotiating may start at 14 to 15 million, and the deal may end on $20 million a year. I also feel like it'll be a much shorter deal. Instead of that 4 or 5 year deal like the rest of the stars begin, it's gonna be like a 3 year, just because of how unsure of a product he is. In my mind, Larry Markkinen could either be really damn good or really damn mid. There's way too much uncertainty behind his name for the Chicago Bulls to truly invest in. I happily cannot say the same for the last power forward that I'm about to cover and last player in this video that I'm about to cover on my favorite team, John Collins. We already know what he is, we already know what he can do. It's all about what he has the potential to do now. There's no such thing as uncertainty behind JC's name. Now I really don't want to dive too deep speaking on JC, because I literally just made a video talking about him like less than a week ago, maybe a week ago now. Check it out. Short answer though, I feel like this man's gonna get anywhere from $19 to $24 million a year. He's earned that contract extension, and I feel like that's fair for him and also fair for the Atlanta Hawks. Caps off this entire video. Now look, I know you ain't gotta tell me in the comment section. I did not cover the entire draft of 2017 or all the players who potentially could, be re-signed by their team. Why didn't I do it? Why are you asking me questions? I should be asking you questions. Who do I look like? Do I look like ESPN? Do I look like an analyst? No, I'm just a dude with a camera who may just have a very dangerous obsession with this beautiful game that we all love. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you guys for watching. This camera's really about to die real soon, so if it dies any minute from now, just know that I want you to make sure that you make your day great. Check out the new podcast and leave a like on this video. I'll get right with you. Share it too.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the shirt, free the way, Told my girl who'd ever thought.